Hey, hey, hey. Time for another out-of-this-world story from rSpace. You know how they say love is blind? Well, sometimes it's just flat-out clueless. Today on rSpace, it's time to question everything you thought you knew about trust, loyalty, and the wild world of dating apps. My friend discovered my wife on a dating app. I exposed her on her voicemail. Yo, you guys need to be careful out here. Chris Brown was right when he said these girls aren't loyal anymore. They're just out here breaking hearts and doing whatever they want to do with no shame. My head's spinning. I feel like I just got hit by a truck, and it's all because of this girl I thought I was going to put a ring on. This is so wild. Like, I don't know who to talk to. So here I am, sitting on my couch, staring at my phone like it's going to answer all my questions. Let's rewind a bit. I met Jade, and yeah, that is her real name. I'm almost tempted to put her last name here too, just to let everyone know who they're dealing with if y'all ever meet up with her. We met about 2.5 years ago on a dating app. I was deep into the dating scene back then, not even gonna lie. I had this little formula down pat. I wasn't even out here trying to be a playboy or anything, but I knew how to navigate those dating apps. I had a method for swiping, matching, and talking to the right people who seemed legit. Once I saw the words in your profile, I could tell who was a hoe and who wasn't. You could call me a pro, but that's all in the past now. Anyway, I matched with Jade, and from the jump, we clicked. She seemed cool, funny, and sweet. She just hit differently from the other girls I was talking to at the time. Jade was chill, but had this energy that pulled me in. She wasn't just about looks, she had a good head on her shoulders. I really thought I had found someone special. Fast forward, we start dating seriously. I was just looking for a fling, you know what I mean? I wasn't even looking for something long term. But that's exactly what happened. 1 minute, you're chilling, just vibing with someone. And next thing you know, you're spending hours on the phone with them like you've known them forever. And in my case, you're picking out furniture. We moved in together about a year ago and got this nice-ass apartment she picked out. She loved it. In fact, she locked it down before I could say anything. I didn't care much after all. Happy girl, happy life, right? That's what they say. So, I was paying the rent while she handled the decorating and stuff like that. It seemed like a fair trade-off at the time. Now, here's where it gets real. I was helping out a homie of mine, Sean, with his dating profile. The dude's been single for way too long, and since he just relocated to town but is introverted as hell, I felt like I needed to help him out. A little dive into Sean. He's got the looks and the money, but not the riz. So apart from teaching him how to approach a lady, I was walking him through the basics of a dating app and setting up his profile because Lord knows I used to make it very clear how good I was getting girls on dating apps. So here we were, browsing through potential matches, right? We're scrolling, swiping, doing our thing, and boom, there's Jade. Dead serious, my girl, on this dating app. I was stunned. My mind was racing, trying to process what I was seeing. At first, I thought it'd be a glitch or something, a catfish using her pictures. It had to be, but it was the same profile pic she had on her Instagram, the same bio she joked about when we had first met. I couldn't believe it. I thought I was in a bad movie or something. All those late night conversations, the laughs we shared, the plans we made. Was everything about to go to waste? My heart dropped. I looked over at Sean, and bro is just as confused as me, trying to comfort me, but his words barely register. At first, he told me maybe the picture was old. Maybe she had this profile from before we got together and just never bothered deleting it. Happens, right? But deep down, I knew that wasn't the case. That profile was active. We were talking minutes ago, bro. My girl of 2 years, the same one I was planning a future with, was out here swiping right and left like she was single, like I don't even exist. You ever feel your whole body just freeze up? Like your mind is moving 1,000 miles a minute, but your limbs are dead? That's what it was like. In hindsight, it took me an entire week to even process the whole thing. Time didn't even feel real at this point. But back to that day. Sean tried to gauge if I was good, throwing out questions like, "You alright, man? You need anything?" But I couldn't speak. No words were coming out, no matter how hard I tried to form them. My throat was dry, my chest tight. All I knew was that I had to see if this was really happening or if I was just overreacting. So a few days passed, and after sitting with it, thinking it over, I came up with a plan. I convinced Sean to help me out and gather some details on Jade. Maybe, just maybe, it was some catfish situation, right? So we finished up Sean's profile, beefed it up to make him more appealing, and got him to swipe right on her profile. We waited, and wouldn't you know it, an effing match. A match! My girl, the one I'm paying rent for, sharing a bed with, the one I was thinking about marrying, just casually matched with my boy like it was nothing. Like, how could she not recognize him? Hell, I've even mentioned him to her a few times. I had some pictures with him in it. Either she didn't give a dang and thought we were too dumb to figure it out, or she didn't recognize him. At that point, I wasn't sure if I was losing my mind or if she just didn't care enough to hide it. Anyway, I wasn't about to sit around in denial. I downloaded the app myself and got Sean's login info so I could control the conversation from my end. I needed to know just how deep this went. I made Sean start the convo with something casual, the typical, "Hey, just looking to make new friends" type crap. Nothing crazy at first, just to see if she'd respond. And of course, she did. We got her to send recent pics, ones that no catfish would ever have access to because they were nowhere on the internet. Real, fresh photos. My heart sank even further. This girl was going through with all of this. How many other accounts on other platforms might she have had? How long has she been doing this? Since we met. But it didn't stop there. Over the days, the convo just kept going. And she started to get flirty. Real flirty. The kind of flirty you get when you're trying to hook up, not just casually talk. Reading those explicit messages made me lose my mind. I swear, it was like watching my whole relationship burn to the ground in real time. Sean was trying to hold back, but Jade? She was going full throttle. Am I not enough for her? Was it something I did? Or is this just a thrill for her? Here she was, a grown freaking woman, flirting with a guy younger than her, talking about meeting up, like it was just another day at the office. Every notification hit me like a dagger to the heart, but I had to hold it together. I had to play it cool, real low key, and make sure Jade didn't suspect a dang thing. I mean, I was sitting on this bombshell of betrayal, but I couldn't let her see it on my face or the way I acted around her. That's when the plan came together in my head. See, screenshots of her chats weren't going to cut it, not in the long run. I needed something solid, something she couldn't deny, couldn't talk her way out of. So I pushed Sean, told him he had to take it further. Make it real good, I said. Get her to sleep with you. Once you realize I had already mentally let go of her at that point, you'll realize that it was a bit easy to say that. I couldn't ever imagine saying that about someone I was still strongly in love with. I know it sounds cold, but I needed evidence, photos, videos. Hell, I even wanted him to get her to agree to a tape. That was the plan, but man, it wasn't as easy as I thought. The first meetup? It was smooth. They had a good time. But when it came time to seal the deal, Jade wasn't budging. She wasn't down to go back to his place or a hotel. And bringing him to our place? Yeah, that was out of the question. No way she'd risk that. She wasn't stupid, at least not yet. So I had to go back to the drawing board and rethink the whole strategy, but I wasn't about to give up. We started planning for a second meetup, and this time we upped the ante. I told Sean to make himself look like a bigger deal than before. We doctored some photos to make it look like he had more cash than he actually did. My boy couldn't justify all that with his own paycheck. He's still young, barely getting started. But that's what family connections are for. It's all smoke and mirrors. But Jade, well, she seems to be in love with the money. On my end, I played my part too. I cut her off financially and gave her some excuse as to why my salary wasn't coming in. A lot of the privileges of the relationship melted away, and I even stopped showing her affection. I wanted to push her further into the arms of destruction. I knew the less I gave her, the more desperate she'd become, and the more likely she'd fall for Sean's fake baller act. And wouldn't you know it, it worked. The second meetup was it. She took the bait, hook, line, and sinker. They went out again, and this time, she was all in. She agreed to everything, including going back to his place and getting intimate. Not the tape part, but nudes and a little video of the two of them in bed that he secretly took. Sean got her to do it all. It was the evidence I needed. Explicit pictures and videos. Proof she couldn't weasel her way out of. This wasn't just some chat on a dating app anymore. This was her physically betraying me, caught in 4K. Now I have everything, and also the blueprint for my revenge in my mind. And trust me, I am ready to execute. But before I move forward, I wanted to hear from y'all. Maybe I'm being too in my emotions and not thinking about this logically. Either way, I need to hear what you guys think before I make my next move, because once I start, there's no going back. I get it, OP. The urge for revenge is totally understandable after being blindsided like that. The goal to expose her actions without making yourself look bad in the process. It can feel satisfying to show her the consequences of her choices, especially after everything you've put into the relationship. Own your narrative and show her that she messed with the wrong person. Update. You are not going to believe how this went down. Was I petty? Yes, absolutely. Was I evil? Not as much as I would have wanted. Did she get what was coming to her? You bet. Let me take you through it step by step, because Man, this was wild. Alright, first thing I did, I stopped paying rent. Yep, straight up ghosted on that bill. Now, before you start saying, bro, how are you going to stop paying rent and not get caught? Here's the good part. The papers were in her name, not mine. Jade picked the place out herself, acting all excited about decorating and making it her little Pinterest dream, and I was the one handling the rent. Now, the second I found out she was cheating, I knew it was time to play my cards. I hit up the landlord and hit him with the same sob story I had told her to push her into Sean's arms. I told him I was going through serious financial issues. You know, some drama about layoffs at work. Whatever sounded convincing. The landlord was so sympathetic, he gave me a 3-month grace period or rent. And why not? I have never had a single late payment. That saved me a lot of money. I also convinced her to pay all of the other bills too, since I was in a tight spot, and I would pay her back immediately after I fixed things. I even made her ask her family members for help when she started grumbling about the injustice of it all. She agreed eventually. Nah, she was going to feel that once I was out of there. Bruh, she knew something was up. I bet she knew, but maybe she was so involved with Sean that she was just not ready to put 2 and 2 together. For sure, Sean was getting it good from her. At that point, I almost made sure to have fun where I could. At that point, cheating was legal in our relationship. I played the long game like a pro. I gave it 3 months, just enough time for everything to pile up nice and high. On one random Tuesday afternoon, when Jade was at work, probably swiping through more dudes on a dating app, I packed up all my stuff. Every single thing. I got a truck and all, and made sure the people saw. I didn't even leave a sock behind. Do you know how thorough you have to be to not leave a single sock? That's commitment. I left the keys on the counter and wrote a little note about how she was done and that I was out. And to put a nice cherry on top, I sent the landlord a heads up about the situation. He was going to be hitting Jade with that overdue rent notice real soon. I can only imagine her face when she got home and saw the apartment empty, or when she got the call from the landlord. It must have been ugly. Sad I didn't get to witness it all. That same day, while Jade was dealing with our relationship issues and the landlord thing, I was doing what I knew how to do best. Y'all remember how we'd been dating for 3 years, right? Long enough that her family had me in their group chat? And let me tell you, these folks were all about me. They thought I was the one, the responsible guy who was going to put a ring on Jade and give them a bunch of little grandkids. Well, spoiler alert, that ring was never coming. I had to let them know. I blurred out Sean's face in those pictures. Gotta protect my boy. But I sent them to her entire family group chat. I didn't hold back. I was like, hey, just thought you should know what Jade's been up to while I was busy being a faithful, loving boyfriend. Her mom, dad, and siblings, everybody was in that chat, and they were not ready for that info. Jade must have been blindsided. I mean, her family loved me. They had no idea their little angel was out there swiping on dudes like it was her part-time job. With that, I exited the group and blocked every single one of them, except Jade, because I wasn't done with her yet. Then I called my parents to do the same, in case these guys tried to call them to settle things up. Oh, and if you thought I was done, hold up, there's more. I still had that video Sean took secretly. I didn't share it, but I blackmailed her with it. Told her if she didn't give back everything I'd bought her, including that shiny new iPhone, I'd make sure the whole world saw what she was really about. And guess what? She complied real quick. I wasn't playing. Then I made Sean ghost on her too. And that iPhone was under my new name and still under my account, so I had control over a few things, like her voicemail. You know where this is going, right? I went into the settings, changed her access code, and left her a little present. Here's what her new voicemail said. Hey, this is Jade. I can't come to the phone right now because I'm too busy sleeping with guys I met on a dating app and cheating on my boyfriend. It's been fun. Last but not least, because I feel some of y'all might think that I went too far, and to that I say, hell yes, I did. Maybe when you're in my shoes, you understand. Look, I spent years trying to make this girl happy and doing everything I could to build something real, and she was out here playing me like a dang fool. So yeah, maybe it was petty, maybe it was over the top, but you know what? It felt dang good. Sometimes you gotta reclaim your power, and if that means getting a little messy along the way, so be it. I wish I could have seen her face when she realized what was going on. She must have flipped out. Within hours, she was blowing up my phone, my messages, and my DMs on different social media platforms, trying to get me to change it back. But nope, I wasn't budging, and that was my sign to block her as well and unfollow. It didn't take her too long before she figured out how to take it all down. The damage was done. Everybody who called her for that week was going to get a little surprise, and I hope all the guys she was seeing on the side. I don't know, but I can bet she had some explaining to do. Jade's reaction? I don't know. Little time she communicated with me before I blocked her, she sounded very distressed, like she was all tears. She also hurled a lot of insults at me, but no apologies from her end. But I was cool with that. I had done enough. She made her bed and now she would lie in it, preferably with that overdue rent notice tucked under her pillow. So yeah, that's the update. I'm officially free of Jade, and she's out here trying to piece her life back together without my help. Meanwhile, I'm just chilling, enjoying life, and sipping on some sweet, sweet revenge. Lesson learned, y'all. Always trust your gut, and if someone's out here playing with you, don't just sit back and take it. Flip the script. Turn the tables. Whatever metaphor works for you, just do it. Trust me, it feels better than any closure conversation ever could. That's it for now. Stay petty, my friends. Sending those messages to her family was a bold move. You took the emotional stakes and turned them up to 11, and I'm here for it. And that voicemail? Absolute genius. Sure, some might say it's petty, but after the betrayal you experienced, reclaiming your power makes total sense. You put in the time and effort, and you deserve to show her the consequences of her actions. Enjoy your newfound freedom. Stay strong and keep living your best life. What would you have done? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. And thank you for joining us today on rSpace. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. See you next time.